Is anything screaming at anyone right now?
Let's go places.
We're on a journey to make healthcare more accessible and
If
more
we haven't
equitable.
found the
Tesla.
one
To treat the most
yeah,
complex
you just pulled it up.
diseases and offer
yeah, so
hope,
Tesla
we're often there as
Tesla
well.
900, right? So
To provide better
Yeah.
care to more people across
all right,
the
so
Bay
let me look
Area.
at the chain. So
We are more than a
Tesla
hospital, more than a university.
900
beyond
costs
science and
700 bucks.
technology. We are the people.
Yeah.
of
That okay,
UCSF.
so that move that just happened right now, that would be okay.
UCSF
You're once you cleared
redefining
this high,
possible.
you're good. I have this daily range, so this is 916. You could so 905 call, 910 call. Sorry, 365 bucks right now, 28,000 volume. I'm looking for the volume. 28,000 volume meets the criteria. You're actively breaking out right now. You can go right. So 365, 370, 375, 380. Okay, just go. So
What was the strike?
the strike is 910.
We hadn't bought a new mattress in years.
20 years.
Was it that?
So let me pull
There's
it.
so
So
many
it's
options out there, but
moving.
the experts at Sleep World
You
help
can
us
be.
find the
You have
right
to be
one.
fast,
What if we
right?
try an afternoon read?
Typically,
In your case,
you know,
an afternoon
20%,
nap.
give or take,
That too.
is good.
Find your mattress story and save up to
Wait a minute.
$600 on select top
Ah.
brand quality mattresses at Mancini Sleep World. Visit
I
sleepworld.com
think
or
there's some
one of our
issues right now.
34 locations. New stores coming soon to San
Look at
Francisco.
Tesla just go. Wow.
Well, here. So 900 we knew was a critical level. I'm just using this average daily range. If you have a little profit here, actually, you probably don't. It's trading at 380 still. So if you look at this, it's a 910 strike. You have to have it close at 913.80 or whatever you paid for it. If you caught it right here, that would be ideal. But now, if you have it, we're just looking for new high, new high, new high. We don't see it. This has to push, otherwise you probably want to just out real quick.
We're going to start with Mattel, moving higher, beating on both the top and bottom lines. The toy maker also saying the
This would be our bounce level on this top little wick
Strong sales for
right
Barbie
there.
and Hot Wheels. Those shares, though, basically turning flat right now.
This little guy.
Honeywell, Dow Component, also
Right there.
topping earnings estimates this morning.
I'm on a
although it
30-second,
was
right? So
slightly
you're
short of forecast. The company's saying it's seeing strong growth across
super
all of its segments, though it did trim its
tight in
sales
terms
for
of price
full-year
action, but we're not
guidance.
looking
Those
for
shares
big
now
giant
down
moves.
about
It's,
almost
you know,
2%.
this from
And
here
finally,
to
Intel,
maybe
another blue
a
chip.
little
Those
over
shares
910.
tumbling too,
That
missing
would double
Q3
you.
sales forecast. The company also
Put
predicting
that right around
lower
700.
profit margins over the next few years due to ongoing investments.
So you
in
can
new
look at this.
technology. Shares are down almost 11%
If you're worried,
right
I
now.
wouldn't be.
However,
So you have,
do not miss
we're going to do
CEO
this,
Pat
right?
Gelsinger coming up
So,
in the next hour on Tech
higher
Check.
high,
Mike.
right?
Morgan, thank you very much.
This is what we're looking
we are
for.
also keeping an eye on shares of
Higher high.
Snap. That stock really hit after signaling
And a lower
Apple's
high.
privacy changes and global supply chain issues impacted its quarter. It's off
Right.
almost 23%
So,
right now this morning. Joining
oops.
us now is Mark Shmulik. He's analyst
Not
at
lower high.
Bernstein to talk a little bit
Higher
about this
low.
reaction. Mark, good morning.
Now we have higher high for sure. Why this was okay, this was a what? It was a higher low. We had that, right? Which broke that. And we kept seeing a series of these higher lows. So as long as we're continuing to see really these higher lows, that's ideal. What we're going to be looking for when you're in something is what? What are we looking for? We're looking for a lower high, which will be what? That would be if this were to break down, how would we get a lower high? This would have to break down actually all the way down here and then bounce and then cut back down. Does that make sense? So for right now, we're still good. If this is a higher high, we'd ideally want a lower high or a higher low, somewhere right around. This would be your typical market structure. Market structure, 1, 2, 3 up, 2 down, and then maybe 1 flat, 3 up. That's what we're looking for. 1, 2, 3 up, right? Little flat, then up. So up, breather. This is our breather. We want to see a higher low, and then we could expect something like that.
You say that companies will work around it. Obviously, Facebook down 5% this
You
morning.
see it?
Has been somewhat of a shadow over that story as well. But even if they do, find these workarounds,
And if we
does it
don't, and we
restrain
get something like that,
per user or some of
okay, we
these
can
other
just
metrics
exit
that the stock valuation
if we
based
need
on?
to. Well, let's see.
Yeah, it shouldn't.
Management
Came out on the call last night
God
and said that it was
damn it, Nucor.
transitory. I tend to believe them. The issues right now seem very centered around measurement and not
Okay,
about targeting.
so if you're
This is
in,
very important because
cool. I
targeting
think
is broken.
I would
That's
really
really
just like
difficult
set
to
a trailing
replicate for the
stop,
advertiser,
something
to
like
effectively
that.
find their audience. But for
This,
measurement,
if you do get a lower high,
often find workarounds. And
you know, you'd have to pull down. You need a, you want to see a
They
lower
introduced their
low.
conversion API, their aggregate events
It should be
manager,
somewhere in here.
and in their blog post, I think about a month or so
You're
ago,
up a couple bucks right now. It's
they've
nothing to write home
effectively come
about.
up with an estimation of how effective the ads are, and they said they were underreporting it by about 15%.
Yeah.
So the issue is
You
known,
can bail on
and
that
they're
for a little
working
bit.
towards effectively, building out these workarounds, and it just takes time. You've got to go advertiser by advertiser, get them to on board through the new tools and services that you have. Takes
Facebook, we're still in this.
a lot of human power to
I mean,
effectively go off and do that.
what am I
We've seen
supposed to do with
take
that
place.
one?
And so in my view,
Tommy Blue wants to say
something that's
Nucor,
gonna go way on the industry, probably for
40%.
the next 6 to 9
Yep.
months. I think we're pretty much at peak IDFA issue right
Hey,
now.
put
But as we
something
go
out
through
there.
Next year, we should come out of it.
Mark, if I heard you correctly, you mentioned that the supply chain
Oh, look
headwinds
at-
were largely expected.
So you got-
known coming into this.
We did get
How
a
does
higher
that
low.
speak to the mix of
So this
advertisers
is
on
definitely a
Snap,
higher
and
low
does that carry through
on Tesla.
in terms of what we might hear from their competitors like Facebook or
I have some
Alphabet or Twitter
oscillators here that are
Yeah,
just going to tell us
certainly.
the
And I
strength.
think,
They're not
one
buy
of
or
the
sell
more interesting
singles for
points
me.
that we got from Snapchat last night was, if you just look at sequential ad spend, their
And we'll
performance
probably look
marketing was
okay for a
flat
little bit.
quarter over quarter, which would imply that brand
Now I
spend
have all
growing
this
somewhere in the
text.
neighborhood of 20 to 25%.
And so this
brand
volume
spend
by
feels a little
price,
bit more insulated.
there's
So
not
if
a
you look
lot
at
of sellers
platforms
up
like
here.
Twitter, like Google's YouTube, they may be a
Most
little
of the
bit more
volume, like
insulated
right
from
here.
some of these trends taking place and pressures. Now, what we know with supply chain issues
When this
is that if an
yellow
advertiser has
totally
nothing to sell,
disappears,
they don't wanna spend
that's a
any
good
money.
one. What would that put this at?
Talk about the market so far this week.
Probably put that
Earnings season
at
as we know it,
275.
Good to see you. Happy Friday to you.
What call you thinking, Jason?
You mentioned
910.
on yesterday's trade, not a bad finish
Okay.
at all, is how you
That
write
puts
it.
that at like
Overall,
275,
global
something like
equity
that.
markets uncertain but relatively stable. The bulls still have control of the ball.
So this is something like that. So if you're looking at candlesticks, we're looking for a somewhat reversal above resistance, right? So if this is resistance here, intraday resistance, right? And we already outlined that 900 is a very clear real resistance that we're definitely above over at 903. Our 910, we have an average daily range for Tesla would put that up to 917, 916 and change. And we're looking for a series, right? Higher highs and higher lows. So we got higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, right? This should put in another higher low. So theoretically, we should be looking for another higher high. Does that make sense?
Particularly interesting area.
And to know that, to get that,
It makes sense for sure. I
yeah,
see it.
to get that for sure, right? You can throw a little line
into a kind of third rail for the market.
right there
You're seeing that NASDAQ
if it helps you
has
visually.
remained,
What you don't really want to see is a
or
lower
weakest
high.
of the three,
So if this is a lower high,
indices that
then that's
we're
your
looking
first
at. I think
warning,
that's because
and you are going to
afraid
close.
of
We
the
would
impact of
close
higher
if we
yields,
get
on the
a lower low
high cap tech stocks.
for me, right? Which is right
It's
about
been maybe
904,
not poisonous, but
something like that,
problem
if
in
we
the
go below
past.
that.
And
So right now,
individual problems as
what is
Snap
this?
and other things that you've been mentioning this morning.
904
Keep
04
a strong eye
would
on
be your
that.
stop
Powell will be talking late morning
on
at
this,
an
because
international
why? Because that would be
No
both
one
a lower
expects
low
any,
or a lower high,
wild
and
surprises
it would be
out of
below
him.
the
He
prior
walks
low,
on
so that would be
eggshells
a
as
lower
much
low
as he
as
can.
well.
But any move in that 10
So
year
you're
can
good
have
now
important
as long as
effects
it
on the
continues
market,
this structure.
at a critical area, 'cause we're
They can
trying to
bounce off
consolidate
this,
those
but
relative gains here.
not seeing a ton of volume
They could
coming
move
right now.
rapidly if there were a big surprise in yields.
But on the left of my screen, there's this VPVR. There's not a lot of selling volume above 905 ish. Or 905. I didn't see anybody selling. So we'll see how that plays out.
And
Otherwise,
above 906, all the sellers just disappeared.
yeah. So if we can get to 906, that should be, so what you should get out of this, that should be a little squeeze area where it would have the potential to, like, you know, squeeze like $5-10, something like that, and that's your
corporate
quick
tax
exit.
rates, so therefore that'll be great for the market. But if you hear in the background, some of the things they're talking about anyway is taxing.
Technically, you could go,
corporate
you don't have to go to
buybacks.
the top of the
And
wick.
corporate
This is
buybacks
a
have
good
been
enough
key
level
support,
here to
for this rally that
justify
we've had over the last couple of
holding
years.
and not being worried about
You
it.
know,
But really, it's
I
this,
disagree
you know,
with, Senator Warren and some of the
904
progressives say,
level.
well, that's manipulative.
And we're way above all
what
this
you're
stuff.
doing.
We already had our red
You
flips
know,
down
you
on
could
our
look at
oscillators
that
here.
depending on what's
So,
going on, but what it really supposedly historically says is, look, I've got money here, and I can't think of any better use
Let's
of
see.
it than to put it in my
Some
company
people like to
because
do these
things are
little
going so well.
trend line
My
things.
sales
Yeah,
are
that might
great,
happen.
My operations are strong. So that corporate buyback has been a
It
really
could oscillate
positive
for a little bit, which
reinforcement. So
if you
it's
can,
one
you would
thing to
just
get away
probably
from
rather
corporate
get out and
taxes,
come
but
back
if you're
in
gonna start to charge for
later
buybacks,
instead of
that could
bleeding
put a
out.
dent in the market.
I don't want to get stuck on one, though, because we might miss some other opportunities. So we're just keeping an eye on Tesla. So what are we looking for, right? We're looking for higher lows. We've got yet another higher high. So as long as we get a higher low, we're good, right? No need to be nervous, even if you think that this is quote-unquote extended. As long as this market structure is intact, don't worry, right? But you have to be able to see this market structure. If you don't, then yeah, then you might be worried because you don't know that this is acting perfectly normal. And at yet another pivot, this should give us yet another higher high, ideally, right? And we want that to be another higher low. If you notice, we're not making a whole lot, by the way, on this call because it was an early buy. Usually like to wait, probably no 30 minutes, and we need it to start moving fast. So even though the stock has gone up $3, it has not been enough to offset the IV and theta burn for us. So Tesla, are we getting our higher highs? Yes. Did we get our higher lows? Yes. So what can we expect? So remember over here, we were looking for this kind of like, yeah, this can continue lower. What I'd like to see, so we got our little flip up. We want to see something. It's if we're getting higher highs on this super short time frame, I'm very good here.
And activity. The better you sleep.
Yeah, very, very good. It's if we get, so this is my MACD. If we get way over, you know, extended, that would look like way up here. So, okay, I'll set something if you wanted to look at how to use oscillators, things like that. My bottom one is not an RSI, just so you know, it's a stochastic, which is just intraday, quick momentum stuff. Here, I think 1, 2, 3 down on Tesla. This would be a lower high right here. Go ahead, take it. So Tesla out for me.